Detroit Lions fans? Detroit Den 313 back after a little break, a little weekend rendezvous, some things going on. I'll let Steve catch you guys up on that. But before he does, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You know, it helps the channel out tremendously. And we're trying to grow this thing. So, Steve, what are we doing? What the heck are we talking about?
Yeah, I had to take a couple of days off. You know, wife finally popped. Baby's finally here. Baby Perkins. New subscriber. If my 3-day-old daughter can figure out how to hit that subscribe button, certainly some grown adults on here can do the same. But real quick, shout out to some of our new members. I believe I'm caught up on my list of who's joined recently. Derek Matthews, Ed Perva, Mike McCall, Curtis Lee, all new members. Again, once we hit 100 members, massive members only giveaway, members only live stream. It's going to be fun. We'll give away some new jerseys, some gift cards, all that stuff. But Will, back to business today. Two guys I really like. Two guys I'm really high on. Two guys I think are good fits. Who do you want to start with first?
I got to start with the Detroit boy, man. I got to start with Mr. Derek Harmon, man. A couple people smacked our little PPs when we talked about Derek Harmon before. They're like, yeah, Derek Harmon's a good player, but the Detroit Lions hasn't even come for a visit. Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I respect it. I did say that, you know, we might not even know all the people that do end up having visits, but I could respect where they were coming from with that sentiment, man. But now he's been here. So that's a guy who I like. And I like a lot. I've liked him the whole time. Him and his counterpart Jordan Birch, but this is a Derek Harmon show, and he's just got all the things, man. He's got the traits, he's got the physical stature and physical attributes. I think he's about 6'4", a little over. Steve, at the combine, did you know how much he weighed at the combine?
I do. It's a very familiar number. 313 pounds, 313, Detroit area code, Detroit Den 313. We could tie a lot of things together with that. Yeah, 313 pounds, 6'4", 34-inch arm. Like, this dude's just a measurable freak on top of his all the stuff we're going to talk about. Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited for him, man, to come to town. Like, I didn't want to get our PP smacked again, so I didn't load anything in, but we'll talk about what this guy does. He's twitched up, man. He's twitched up, and we've talked about it. Freaks. We want freaks in the trenches.
Real quick, here's a picture from Derek Harmon's Instagram. This is from Friday when he was visiting from Allen Park at the training facility.
Yes, sir. So he's a guy, man, that like I said, he's twitched up. He can play anywhere from the 0 to the 5 technique. There's only one minor thing that I don't love, is that he doesn't change direction well. But most of the time you can't have it all. But he is a guy who I could see day one standing in for Aleem McNeil right there next to DJ Reader. No disrespect to Mr. Roy Lopez, but or Mr. Levi Onzarike on the inside. I do like you at strong edge, though. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, man, I think Derek Harmon could play immediately. But Steve, what are you thinking? Can this dude be on the field like tomorrow? Where you at with him?
Tomorrow, he should have been on the field last year instead of playing for them bum-ass Michigan State Spartans. He should have been playing for the Detroit Lions and on our depth chart. But yeah, he got out of town. He headed out to Eugene, Oregon, had a really good season. Listen, what I was doing today in the handful of seconds where I wasn't either changing a diaper or feeding a baby was watching some film today. And trust me, it's a struggle. Okay. There's not much time. Baby sleeping. I'm trying to look up Detroit Lions stuff. That's just the way the world is right now. Go watch Derek Harmon's revenge game against Michigan State. He absolutely just made grown men look like not grown men. Like, he played with a chip on his shoulder. He was out for blood, out for revenge. I don't know what they did to him at Michigan State, but he transferred and they were on the schedule for Oregon last year. And he just went out there and just absolutely dominated. RIP to Aiden Chiles, however you pronounce his last name. He's just a corpse on that field now. He's just, you have to play around him. They can't even get his body off. But watch that highlight tape. If that doesn't sell you, I don't know, because that's just one game. You want to talk about the Rose Bowl, even though Oregon got blown out and washed by Ohio State, he still had a good game. You want to talk about the Big Ten championship game, he had a good game. So I think he's just been consistent from day one. I think he'd be a tremendous fit with the Detroit Lions. D-tackle him next to Aiden Hutchinson, pushing pockets, going around pockets. Like, William, that's a nasty little combination right there with Hutch and Harmon. Hutch and Harmon, that's a law office name. The law offices of Hutch and Harmon. That's a, get that on the t-shirt.
That might be a banger right there. That might be a banger. Yeah, I love the pass rush upside, man. He's got pass rush upside, and I love that, man. Especially when we talked about that's something that we want to bolster. Period here in for the Detroit Lions. And if we're not going to go edge rusher, I feel like it's got to be one of these defensive tackles who can rush the passer, man. Uh, so if we go second tier edge, it's got to be first tier defensive tackle. So that's kind of where I'm at with him. But at the, I believe it was the combine interviews, not the one at the podium, but the other one when they sit down. I believe it's with the guys from CBS, if I remember correctly. But uh, they asked him this question. They said, "Listen, we know you're from Detroit, right? Lions are a pretty good team. Would it be a dream for you to play for the Detroit Lions?" And he said, I don't know about a dream. I don't know about a dream." And then he kind of just went into basically paraphrasing. It would be a blessing to play for any team. So that kind of turned me off just a smudge, just a smudge. Is it a deal breaker? By no means is it a piece, but I didn't like that he wasn't like, when they asked Aiden that, he said, "Hey, listen, it'd be a blessing to play for any of these teams, but to play for the Lions, to play for my home squad, that would be amazing." That's what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear him pound. I want to see him pound his chest and say, "Listen, Coach Campbell, Brad, draft me. I'm your guy." I didn't get that from him, and it was a little bit disappointing.
Well, I think that's he must be watching Detroit Den 3-3 and seeing all those politicians that Will Ford gives. So I can understand where he got it from and where he learned it. He learned it from you. I probably would have said the same thing. Like, you got to be careful with your words when you're being interviewed. The difference between him and Hutch is Hutch should have been the number one, so he can go out and say stuff like that because he knew for sure he was going top 5. With Harmon, it's like maybe you just don't want to piss off 31 other teams who might be looking at you by saying the wrong thing. And, hey, the further you slide down a draft board, that's a little bit of lighter paychecks as you become deeper and deeper into the first round. So I understand it. It doesn't bother me. I think if he got drafted by the Lions, you want to kind of get drafted at the end of drafts because those are usually where the good teams pick. Like, you want to come in and you want to go play for Tennessee right now, where you're probably not going to win for 3, 4, maybe 5 years if you're lucky. Or do you want to come to the Detroit Lions, see some home playoff games, see a team that's ready to win a Super Bowl, play with a good defense, one of the best coaches in the NFL? I think he'd be okay. I understood his answer, but you know what concerns me?
What's that?
While we're talking about the combine, Will, that 10-yard split, 1.74. Does that bother you at all? Because I know we've been hammering on that. Every time we talk a prospect and we're like, yeah, 1.6, 1.61, 1.63 is pretty good. If he were in that range, okay, no big deal. But 1.72, does that raise any eyebrows to you?
No, because of the film, man. The film says no worries. That first step on the film says we're just fine. We're good to go. You watch him come out of his stance, super explosive, man. He's hitting that little swim move and he's by the center and the guards like it's nothing. I'm not too caught up in that 10-yard split or that 40-yard dash time. It's all about the film. It's all about the film and against quality competition. So, and it's still, when you're 315 pounds or 313, 313 pounds,
Get the numbers right.
Come on. Let me put some respect on that 313. I don't expect you to be coming out like Justin Jefferson. You know what I mean? I'll take a 1.7. No big deal.
1.7. I'd like him to have something a little bit higher than my grade point average in high school, but hey, it's okay. I don't know. Actually, not in this case. I wouldn't like him to have anything higher. But yeah, I'm not overly concerned. Some guys, sometimes you just can't look at the tape. Sometimes you just can't look at height and weight, arm length, 40-yard dash, 10-yard split. Sometimes you just got to say, I don't care about that. Let's just go watch some football and see what he does on a football field, because games aren't won with tape measures. They're not won with, stopwatches. They're won with football plays. And I want to keep that in mind for some episodes going forward too. But yeah, sometimes just throw those measurables out the window. All right. If not everyone can be, a TJ Watt or a Myles Garrett type player, especially when we're picking at pick 28, like we're still going to get a damn good player on this football team, hopefully. So I don't worry about that too much. I just wanted to ask, I know we kind of get into that a little bit, and I can foresee some comments coming up. He had a 4.95 40-yard dash, 1.72 10-yard split. Other than that, his scores were phenomenal. At the combine, he was the 5th ranked defensive tackle. He was top 10 in damn near every workout. So you get to the podium, you say Derek Harmon's name. I'm quite happy. Will, how would you feel about that?
I would be pretty excited about it. I'm not gonna lie, because my biggest worry is this: I know that he went in to go see the Minnesota Vikings, and I don't want to be playing against him. Now, am I like he's this freak that oh my God, I'm scared to play against him? No, but the thought of Harrison Phillips and Derek Harmon next to each other does not excite me at all, at all. So yeah, I would rather the Detroit Lions be selecting him than somebody that we got to look at twice a year.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the Vikings. They're so far behind us. It's not even funny. Will, they're light years behind. So much catching. They don't even know who's playing quarterback for them next year. JJ McCarthy, the handoff merchant. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear that. Who else we got for tonight?
Listen, near and dear to my heart, put out a first rounder last year that showed up and showed out. I say it every now and then. That just long history of going to these football games out there in Toledo, my vacation spot, Toledo, Ohio. Toledo Rockets own Darius Alexander. Darius Alexander. Listen, Steve, I am pounding the table. And I haven't even said this to you yet. This is the first time Steve is here.
I'd be very careful with your next handful of words.
I am pounding the table. Pounding the table. Please, Detroit Lions, select Darius Alexander. I feel like he could be
in round one,
most underrated guys in this draft. Now, when we're talking, I've gave some of my draft thoughts. I've gave some of the sauce. I think that you can trade back to the top half of the second round, probably get Darius or probably get Alexander, right? I don't know, pick 33, 34, 35. I think Alexander will probably still be there. Now, I will say this. I would not be surprised if somebody took him at the back half of the first round, because when you watch Steve, when you watch this film, this young man, number one, he's twitched up. Number two, he plays all over the defensive line. This dude has some violent hands, right? And I think that we haven't even got to the cusp of really what he could be. The Senior Bowl, let's talk about that, because little Toledo, the same thing they were saying about Quinyon Mitchell, right? Hey, listen, that the competition is questionable, yada yada yada. He just went to the Senior Bowl and treated everybody like children. I mean, like, he was out there doing his thing. Listen, Mike Green had his little highlight where he ran over who was it, Corley or whoever it was, the tackle from Oregon or whatever, and that was cute, that was sweet. But he also got bodied here and there. I didn't see Mr. Alexander getting bodied. All I seen Darius Alexander doing was bodying everybody else from 3 tech to 5 to 7 to 9. He was doing this thing, and then had the audacity, Steve, I don't know if you saw it, but in the Senior Bowl, to drop back into coverage and get a pick six. What are we talking about? Get this dude.
He's done that in college.
Yeah, I was just about to say, yeah. Get this dude. So when I look at him and I look at Derek Harmon, I feel like Darius Alexander is a better athlete, overall athlete. When I talked about my only concern with Derek Harmon was the change of direction, Darius Alexander can change direction. He's explosive. I feel like he can offer more of what we see out of Levi Onwuzurike. By that, I mean, if we want him to go out and play edge in certain situations, he could do that. I think he's going to have a phenomenal career playing 3 technique. You can bump him out to 5 at any time. This is a dude that I think he has the potential to end up, and I know this might be a hot take, but I can see him as an all-pro, man. This dude is a diamond in the rough to me, and I don't really think it's that rough for a lot of people. So like I said, I really think that I could see him getting drafted in the first round, but I do think that he will probably be available pick 33, 34, because the guys like obviously the Mason Grahams and probably Derek Harmon are going to get selected ahead of him, but Walter Nolan might sneak ahead of him because people want. Yeah, that's Kenneth Grant. The people are going to want the sexy picks, but I wouldn't be surprised, man, if he was the second best defensive tackle that came out of this draft behind Mason Graham, man. Am I crazy, Steve? How you feel about it?
There's 2 things you're crazy about, Will. Two
Talk to
things.
me.
Which one do you want first? Do you want? I'll just say I can't call him a diamond in the rough because unfortunately, too many people know about him. Too many people know about Darius Alexander because I'm with you with everything you said. Second, well, I know you live a lavish lifestyle. There's no way you're vacationing in Toledo, Ohio. You're going to Jamaica in like 2 weeks. What are you doing vacationing in
Unreal.
Toledo? Like, come on.
Unbelievable.
I mean,
Unbelievable.
unless you're stopping at Hollywood
That's
Casino.
Toledo.
Yeah.
Toledo.
Listen, I'm from Toledo. There's nothing to vacation there about, all right? Unless you're hitting that Bedford Inn on Telegraph for that free HBO and 1 hour hotel rates. There's really no reason to even head to Ohio. But Darius Alexander's sexy, man. I can't call him a diamond in the rough just because if NFL GMs see what you and me are seeing, he's not going to be a Detroit Lion. That's just the thing. He's just too damn good. It's going to take a little finessing from Brad Holmes to either you take him at pick 28 or you miss out on him because he ain't making it to pick 60. So what's he going to do? Your option, you two options: draft him at 28 or find a trade partner and try to acquire another second round pick and maneuver around him that way because you ain't getting him at 28. It's a little too early for me. 60, he ain't going to be there. But I think I also got my numbers mixed up. I was looking at the 10-yard dash or the 10-yard splits. Darius Alexander had the 172. Derek Harmon had the 174. So I know your answer is still going to be the same. Doesn't matter. Throw away the tape. Watch the film. Football games are won on the field. Well, I think a lot of people's argument is going to be, well, he played at a mag school. What kind of competition do they face? I understand. There's a lot of teams that were trying to double team Darius Alexander. Watch the Miami of Ohio game. Teams, they were just trying to double team him. Was he having any of it? Yeah, absolutely not. Get off me. I'm still going to get after that quarterback. Local-ish kid. I don't know if he's got to qualify for a what's it called? Not a top 30 visit, but the local pro day. I think Toledo.
Yeah, within 50 miles.
It's got to be close, right? Like we've got to get him in town for a visit. So, well, I'm just thinking of the combinations in this draft where I would like Darius Alexander. If you're telling me right now, I leave round 1 with a Donovan Ezeraku or a James Pierce Jr., if that's more of your cup of tea, fine, okay. And in round 2, somehow I find a way to get Darius Alexander. What are we doing? We're just killing quarterbacks. We're just gonna have toe tags out there on Sundays. We're just gonna be killing quarterbacks, Will. So I look at the draft with Darius Alexander as who could I pair him with in round 1? Take your pick of defensive end. If he's your guy in round 2 and you got to do a little finessing to get him, if he's the pick, thoughts and prayers. Good night.
Yeah, I was thinking about it a lot, man, and knowing our GM, I just thought to myself, it doesn't matter, man. If he's a guy, he's a guy. I would have no problems with taking him at pick 28. And maybe it's a hot take. Maybe I'm foolish. Maybe people are going to get in comments and tell me I'm an idiot per usual. But I want him more than I want Derek Harmon, to be honest, man. I like his game that much, man. I feel like his upside. I think today, in this moment, Derek Harmon is better. But I think, man, they both get the peak of their careers. I could easily see Darius Alexander being the better player. And I think they're both going to be good. So it's no disrespect to Harmon either. But I just think there's more upside for Alexander. And I think that when we talk about those combinations all the times that we could see, maybe you see Darius Alexander and Josiah Stewart. And then maybe you see Quandarius Robinson after that. If you look at that combination, maybe Quandarius Robinson is your edge of the future. I know he's going to come in and be special teams first. Josiah Stewart can do both, but maybe he ends up being your Sam. And then you got Darius Alexander right there playing defensive tackle, man. So maybe you're looking at a defensive line with Aleem McNeil, Darius Alexander, Josiah Stewart, Quandarius Robinson, and Aiden Hutchinson with Alex Anzalone and Jack Campbell and Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph and DJ Reed and Terry and Arnold. And what are we talking about? What are we talking about?
We're going to need a priest at Ford Field on Sundays to read the other team their final rites. Like, that's just where we're going to be.
There's a lot of combinations for this draft that could work out really cool for the Detroit Lions. We get on a little bit before sometimes, and we get an opportunity to chat it up a little bit about some of the things that we think could happen or might happen. And I just see combination after combination after combination. We've named two of them just now, and then there's some trade up combinations. I was doing a situation where, and it's kind of crazy, but part of the Cleveland Browns trade, because of the picks are kind of weird a little bit, was grabbing Zach Zenner, who didn't start last year. But just like, not to say that's exactly what's going to happen, but there's just so many different things that can happen. And there's some ideas that we're going to talk about in the next couple shows that I think one of these things are going to happen. And it's 10 days away, Steve. I cannot wait to see which one it actually is.
My only advice, Will, is when you're in Jamaica, you need to figure out the time change because you might miss some stuff in the draft, right? You got to get that phone all up to date, get your settings organized because 8 p.m., I don't know, that might be like 2 a.m. over in Jamaica. I don't know what the time difference is, but you better rest up and take a nap.
I don't care what time it is. I will be wide awake watching from a TV, tablet, cell phone. I
Tiki
don't
Hut.
know. Tiki Hut, carrier pigeon, whatever. I'm gonna get somewhere to watch it.
I'm excited. I really like both of these D tackles. I don't think I really have a preference, honestly. I'm just all about edge in round one and in round two, defensive tackle. You know, if we trade back and we have picks, I'm just throwing numbers out 38, 49, and 60, and we can leave with a D end, a D tackle, and a wide receiver or whatever you want in those picks. I'm all for it. But I will say that after Mason Graham, these are probably the two guys I want. Darius Alexander or Derek Harmon, one of those two, if it's a defensive tackle. I'm perfectly fine with any of it. I know a lot of people like Walter Nolan. I'm okay with Kenneth Grant. This is just my preference. All right. These are my two guys. Kenneth Grant's probably number 2B if I had to really break it down. So I already know what people are going to say in the comments. Well, what about this guy? There's a lot of options. There's just so many options in this draft that, you know, it's almost becoming a luxury when you're a team like the Detroit Lions that really we don't have a huge glaring need. Pretty set on offense. I know some people want to draft an offensive lineman. I don't think we need one in round one. So go out and get me something I can at least see on a football field with my first round pick. You want to have fun, a little bit of fun after that? I'm all for it. But these are two guys that I think would be absolute studs.
Yeah. Steve, I was doing a little bit of digging. I actually did it before, but then I couldn't remember exactly what the numbers were. I knew they were kind of crazy, but Chris Jones, pretty good football player, right?
He's average, above average, I'd say.
Yeah. 40-yard dash, 5.03.
Yeah, but his dick fell out during his 40-yard dash.
Go back and watch that if you haven't seen that one. That's hilarious. But and he ran 2 of them. But yeah, 5.03, man. And he's wrecking football games. He's wrecking football games. 1.7 10-yard split too, and that was before the meat came out. So listen,
it's hard to run with that hammer slapping on your knee. I want to run it down the field.
Yeah. So listen, man. The 40 yards don't deter me one bit, man. But I do feel like even though Chris Jones is 2 inches taller, I feel like Darius Alexander's body type is similar to Chris Jones in the sense of like he's got long arms and he just has an athletic build to him. I think Derek Harmon's just a little bit looser, you know, a little bit more lineman looking or whatever. To me, Darius Alexander looks like a big linebacker. Like, you know what I mean? Like he looks like he could turn into somebody that looks like Aaron Donald. You know what I'm saying? Like he just looks, his physical stature just looks completely different. He looks athletic out there when he's moving around. And that's the part that excites me the most, man. So Brad, you heard it. Figure it out, man. Trade back, do whatever you got to do. Go get us Darius Alexander. I don't care if you take him first, man. I'm not on a Steve train where it's got to be edge and then defensive tackle. I don't care if it's defensive tackle and edge. I don't care when you draft them. Just get us the players that we need to get it done, man.
No, I'm not screaming it has to be an edge in round one. I just know what I want my combinations to be. I want those first 2 picks, edge, D tackle. If it's flip-flopped, if it's D tackle first, then edge in round 2, perfectly fine with it. But I don't see Brad seeing Alexander as a first round pick. I think he's an early 2, but we've talked about it. If that's Brad's guy, that's who the pick's going to be. I mean, I had the same conversation when we were talking about Josiah Stewart. He might be a second round talent, but if that's Brad's guy and he knows he probably can't get him at pick 60, positional value, whatever people were calling when we drafted Jahmyr Gibbs, it goes right out the window because it very well could be. Like, just prepare to be surprised, I guess is what I'm trying to say is we just really don't know. If Brad doesn't think that whoever his guy is going to make it to pick 60, that's fine. I'll just take him at pick 28. Pretty sure he'll be there. So we're just trying to talk about some guys who we might not have first round grades on, and all these mock drafts might not have first round grades on, but the guy calling the shots, he might, and that's the only thing that matters. So we try to keep a level head here. I think that's a fair assumption to think Brad's going to get his man, plain and simple. Like, that's just the motto. He's going to go out and find his man, and he's going to get him one way or another. So you got anything else for tonight, Will?
Nope, just same as usual, man. Leave it in the comments. Let us know how you feeling about it. Do you like these two guys? Which one you like the most? And is there anybody that you like ahead of them? Because to me, man, these are the two guys for me, man. I'm not in on Walter Nolan because of the character issues and the questions, and whether they're true or whether they aren't, man. I just don't think it fits the culture, man. If I'm talking about defensive tackles, I even like these two guys better than Kenneth Grant. No disrespect to Kenneth Grant. He's big, he's strong, he's agile. But when I watch these two guys on film, I just think that they can do more and they're more versatile. So, especially when we're talking about Darius Alexander, he can play anywhere. I wouldn't put him at the nose, but everywhere else at the defensive line, I put him at, man. So,
I might
that's
even
where
put
I'm
him
at.
in those if I'm being honest with you. Did you say Alexander?
Yeah.
Man, he could play anywhere. And he had a big boy touchdown at interception. I can't remember the game, but he dropped back in coverage in a MAC game, took one to the house. So he's got some athleticism. Stick around, hit that like button. We'll be back tomorrow night with another show.
Peace.